Hi, coach. Hi, everyone. How are you
Hello.
today? I hope you've had a great week. And today, Iris and I decided to talk about a topic that is very near and dear to both of our hearts, I think, and to most coaches, therapists out there, because we talk about this, at least I do, on a daily basis. I don't know about you, Iris, but I feel like I talk about this topic so often.
I don't use
And
the
that's
word, but yes, is I don't use exactly the word, the
the
top,
words. Oh, yeah,
but it's something that we must.
we must. And that is the topic of goal setting, goal achieving, and the difference between goal setting and goal achieving, and why, to me, this comes so important because so many people set the most amazing goals, and all of a sudden they don't see them come true. And it can be painful,
Very
and
painful.
it can be so painful, and it can be very discouraging. And I think when we actually begin to separate goal setting from goal achieving, we begin to see the difference of steps. What are the steps to take? And so I'm going to run a little bit through the steps, and Iris, then we'll talk about them. But I think everything starts with setting the goal,
Yes.
at least in my mind. Right? Everything starts with setting the goal, right?
How about wanting it first?
Wanting,
Having
yes,
a clear path.
exactly. Setting the goal is coming up with the why in my brain. Setting the goal is coming up with the why. Why do I want it, right? So first is the why. Why, and then the why becomes into, okay, why do I want this goal? I want to see people reach their goals as a coach, as a therapist, right? Why? I want to see people moving towards bettering their lives, right? The why is so important when it comes to that goal setting, feeling connected to it. And this is when
Yeah.
we go sometimes into discussing vision boards and writing this goal down, right? And when we set a goal, we're not going to put limits to it. A lot of people sometimes put limits on their goals, and that's more for later, and that will come, right? On not so much limits, but the hows and all that stuff. When we're setting a goal, we forget about the how I'm going to achieve it. Right now, it's just the why. Why is it? What is it? What does it look like? And why do I want to go there? Because when we have the why, we have the drive, we have the
Wow.
push, right? We feel that push when we have the why. Rather than, that's why when sometimes people say, I just want to make a lot of money.
Why?
Why? Right?
Why?
Because money for money, the other day my son found 20 bolivares, which is Venezuelan money. And he goes, Mommy, you got a 20. And I'm like, yeah, it's not American money, honey. That's different, right? So the why do you want this money? What are we gonna do? Why? And that is such an important place to start. And vision boards and those things, those are important, but they're not gonna lead us everywhere. Okay. And the motivational scientists, they are out there. And I love to read and look up motivational scientists because just the research that they do, it's so cool in my brain. So motivational scientists have figured out that when you do a vision board, it puts your mind, it puts you there, right? When you
Yeah.
imagine yourself as if you reach the goal, it puts you there, which is good. But there's one little caveat to this, what we gotta be careful with when you're goal setting and goal achieving. And that is they've actually taken measurements of people when they're visualizing themselves there, and their blood pressure goes down. This, I'm so bad at saying this word, systolic. I think it's systolic blood pressure, the bottom number, I think it goes
Uh-huh.
down. So goal setting, imagining yourself there and all that stuff
Systolic.
is
Dystolic. Systolic
systolic.
is the high.
Yeah. So it goes down a little bit, which is, I mean, lowering your blood pressure is good, of course, but we don't want that fully for goal achieving, because when we feel that feeling, it's almost like, oh, I'm there. So this is why when we do that vision board, when we visualize it, do it at nighttime. Do it at nighttime. Do it when it's time to rest so that you put yourself there. But in the morning, go to your next step, which is creating your objectives. And the objectives become the what. What am I going to do to help the people achieve their goals? I'm going to create a company called Reach to Succeed. What am I going to do to create Reach to Succeed? I'm going to do this and this and this, right? So the what becomes that objectives, right? So we gotta imagine that goal. Don't think I'm saying don't imagine your goal, but don't imagine it when you're about to take action because it actually drops your blood pressure a little bit. But when you go into objective thinking and when you go into key result thinking, it spikes you. It actually raises your blood pressure a little bit, which is what makes us get going, which is really cool. Okay, I told you I was a nerd about this, Iris, but I'm a super nerd about this because it's really cool. Dr. Emily Balcelet, something like that. She talks about this. I'm so sorry. I'm going to get her name wrong. Balcetis, I think it's her name. Anyways, she talks about this really cool thing that happens with your blood pressure when you go into goal setting and goal achieve. So in the morning, we're going to look at our objectives. We're going to look at the what am I going to do to reach this goal, right? Mm-hmm. So objective, we narrow down from the why. Do I want to write from the why world, the beautiful world out there? We go, okay, what am I going to do? It's going to be action, right? I'm going to go action oriented now. And then I'm going to go into key results. And the key results, I'm sure a lot of people have heard this: SMART objectives, SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time limited, right? SMART objectives. Yes, I know it's like, yeah, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time limited. But this is really important. Specifically, what am I going to do? Taking it and breaking it down to steps when it comes to goal achieving. So goal setting, goal achieving, two different things. We're going to do the steps at different times. And to me, there's one little last step that at times people don't want to think about, but we want to think about the roadblocks just a little bit. But when I say roadblocks, I say realistic roadblocks, because sometimes when I say roadblocks, people go from, well, if I take this step, then this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, and that's going to happen, then I'm going to be homeless. And then I'm like, whoa, wait up a second. We're not going to catastrophize our roadblocks, just small roadblocks that could happen. And then we're going to come up with ways to solve through them. Slowly. All right, Iris, I've been talking for a while. I'm sorry, I completely took over.
Slowly?
Slowly.
So why are you here? Like why is the reason that you are, what is your goal?
My goal is honestly to help people achieve their goals. The why to that is, I feel like if everybody is in a goal achieving place when it comes to positive goals, right? If we're all in the goal achieving place, we all tend to have an energy and a vibration of positivity. And I think if a large amount of people get into a vibration of positivity, first of all, more goals will be reached. Second of all, the apathy. You know what's really killing me is when I see apathy in younger kids. And nowadays, I see it so often. I just want to be like, I want to shake it off. And apathy is a feeling like any other feelings, it has its place. But we don't want to live in apathy. No. And apathy is something that a lot of very young kids are feeling. And I think, okay, my concept of it is because there's so much more access to information and negative information. And so, back when I was younger, I knew what was happening in my town, but I didn't know what was happening everywhere in the world. And I think kids nowadays see news from all over the world. And all of that leads, and news is usually not the happy stuff that happens, right? News is always the catastrophic things that are happening around the world. And they see that all the time. And so what happens is they get overwhelmed with life at 8, at 10, because they can't solve these problems because they're not for them to solve. but they feel
Yeah.
this sense of what's the point if this is all gonna keep happening? And I really blame the lack of positivity on TV and media in general for that. And I'm one of those people, I'm not about take screens away or anything like that, because Lord knows my kids are on screens, but also have them look at positive things. Like, even if it's just in dinner conversation or something, have them look at something positive. Talk about positive things. Talk about how they can control their inner before we can control the outer. Because if not, apathy sets in. I can't control my outer. I can control what's happening in Russia.
But that also goes back, even though we kind of like diverted from the topic of goal setting,
I sure
that
did.
also goes back
My bad.
to we are not spending time with each other as we used to, like with the children. Children are growing up by themselves, basically. And I can attest to that. My children grew up by themselves. I was a single parent and I have to leave them by themselves.
Mhm,
I could have gone to the government and received help, but I chose to go to work.
mhm.
And today I regret that. But some of the reason why children are so disconnected is because they didn't have a grown up there to
Guide.
guide them, to see them. And then when the grown up was there, they couldn't feel, they couldn't be
Mhm,
themselves. So goal setting, going back to goal setting, it, it's like when we are children, we don't have a set goal. We don't understand it. That the goal is to grow up and be happy and be yourself. But
yes,
it's not gonna happen unless you take action. And that's why you need that why.
yes,
So it can drive you to to, so when those moments of I don't want to do this. Or those moments of the objectives are not longer satisfying the because your little objectives are what's the stepping stones to your goals, right?
yeah,
So
your
the
TV goals.
why will push you, like my why. Just to give you a little bit of my
Yeah,
why.
of course.
I am doing this because I really, truly know that there's no need to suffer. Pain is necessary. Pain is necessary because how will you know when it's light or when it's dark unless you feel it, unless you see it, right? That's a form
Mhm,
of pain. Hunger is a form of pain. Anxiety is a form of pain. So
first.
anxiety is good. Exactly. When you need it, it's good to feel anxious when something is out of alignment, right?
Mhm,
So if you don't have the why on your goal setting, then you won't have the drive to do them, to make them happen, to push yourself. Like I
yes.
had my drive to work out one time, and I was working all day long, got home really tired. I would tell the humans that I birthed, I don't the children that came out of this body,
Children.
to push me out of the house because I needed to work out and I needed that. So I put that why with your pushing me out of the house because I needed to do that for myself.
Mhm,
I wanted to become financially independent, right? Be financially free. What is my why? I mean, I wanted to have money. I thought it was because of financial independence, but it's not. It's because if I don't have to think about money, I am free to serve from a place of service and not of a need. So your goals are important, like you said,
mhm.
because they will take you to where you want to be in life.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. It's
Yeah,
so important. And it's so important not to give up on your goals. And when you
never
find yourself faltering on your goals, remember to go back to the drawing board on your
to the
objectives,
why.
to the why. Go back to the why. Go back to the drawing board on your objectives. Go back to looking at the obstacles that maybe you faced in the past and how you can overcome them now. Think about how many times I always say failure doesn't happen unless you let it happen, unless you stop. Think about how many times it took to make the light bulb. How many times
I
it took
learned
to,
this.
yes.
I learned this yesterday. Wait a minute. I learned this through Lisa Nichols.
Listen,
Lisa
oh my gosh,
Nichols
I
was
love
one of
Listen
the.
Nichols.
Oh my God! I saw her once on Instagram Reel, and I shared it with my clients. The one that I thought needed to hear that message, but I didn't
Yes,
know who she was. But she impacted me that day. But she
yes.
was on the Mastermind World Summit this weekend that participated. Oh my God! This woman took me to every little bit of my soul. She took me all the way to my grandmother. And
Oh,
one of the things that she said that stuck with me, winners never
quit, quit.
quit.
And quitters,
Loser never win.
yeah, quitters never win.
We,
Yep.
exactly.
Winners
So
never
it
quit
goes
and quitters
back
never win. Yep.
to that why. We don't have a choice here about giving up. Because when you give up, life doesn't give up on you. And life will push you on your mission. So that's why
Yes.
you don't give up on yourself. And we have to honor our goals, our mission in life.
Yes, our authenticity. And I was talking about this in one of my live videos recently. To being authentic is so important. And sometimes our being authentic to our goals. Don't grab somebody else's goal. Be authentic to your goal. It's okay if your goal is weird because you know what? There's a reason why you came into this world with that goal. I
I'm
always think
weird.
about the Wright brothers, right? They created the airplane. Back then, I mean, okay, so you could go back in time and find people that wanted to fly, right? But back then it was probably like, oh yeah, you're gonna make an airplane, sure, right? I'm sure people looked at them funny, and I'm sure people said things to them, but they stuck to it, right? And
Yeah.
so remembering to be authentic to your goals and don't let people push you out of your goals. Don't let society tell you you're never gonna make it as a X, Y, or Z, and you have to get that 9 to 5 job or you have to get that whatever. Yes, at some point or another, we will have to get that 9 to 5 job because we
For the
may need
most
it
of
just
us.
to get something until we're able to make it. But don't give up on your goals
And if
because,
you want, change that name from goal to your dreams or to your
yes,
mission in
your
life.
mission.
That's your mission, your
Yes,
purpose.
your purpose. You got it. That part of you that wants, right? I mean, we see it. We have so many stories in life. The book Think and Grow Rich, I mean, has tons of those stories all over it. But Walt Disney, right? We have so many stories of people that said, I want to achieve this. And even when people stole from them, even when they went bankrupt, even when they lost, they said, I'm gonna keep going. And they
Yeah,
did, and they achieved. So
exactly.
don't give up
Reach
on
and
them.
to succeed.
You got it.
I will
But
persist until I succeed.
I love that.
Oh, by the
Persistence.
way, I have a book club which is based on the greatest salesman in the world. If you want to participate, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Because I'm inviting people, but I don't know how I'm going to respond to it. It's happening on Wednesday, this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. We're meeting every Wednesday. Reach we will persist until we succeed, which is in alignment with Mileidy's mission, reach to succeed.
Steve, you got it. And yes, please put in the comments, and Iris, I know we'll put it on the title of the video how to reach you so that they can be part of the club of the book club. But it's so important to read things and get yourself motivated. When you feel low, watch something that gets you motivated. Don't watch something that's gonna bring you lower.
Remember
Keep
your wife.
yourself motivated.
And
Yes.
remember your wife. Because your
Yes.
wife will leave you all the way to the end.
Yes. Um, all right. So I think this is a great stopping point. And so please like, subscribe, please throw in the chat some comments. What are you thinking about this? What do you want us to talk about? What are some other things? Like and subscribe. And we truly,
That's
truly
right.
love you and appreciate
We
you.
do. We do. We do.